Everyone thinks Oak Island's booby traps prove someone buried a fortune there. They're wrong about what that fortune actually was. For over 2 centuries, the money pit on Oak Island has been treated as archaeology's greatest unsolved riddle. Treasure hunters, academics, and obsessives have descended on this small island off Nova Scotia, convinced that elaborate engineering, flood tunnels, wooden platforms, clay barriers, could only mean one thing. Someone went to extraordinary lengths to bury and protect something of immense value. The logic feels airtight. Why else would anyone construct such an intricate system of defenses? But that's exactly the trap we've been walking into. The story begins in 1795. A young man named Daniel Magines noticed a circular depression in the earth on the island's eastern end, along with an old oak tree bearing cut marks. Below it, diggers found wooden platforms every 10 feet or so, descending deeper into the earth. Each time they thought they'd reached bottom, they hit another layer. The narrative hardened. This had to be pirate treasure. Maybe Blackbeard. Maybe Captain Kidd. Maybe Spanish gold. The money pit became a legend. Expeditions multiplied through the 1800 and into the 20th century. Each one reported the same phenomenon: water flooding the pit. Salt water, specifically. How could fresh water seep in so reliably? The answer seemed obvious. The pit's architects had engineered a hydraulic system. Tunnels from the beach, they theorized, funneled seawater into the pit to prevent thieves from digging deeper. Genius. Ruthless. Expensive. The kind of infrastructure only protecting something truly precious would justify. By the 1930s, the money pit had become a tourist attraction and a magnet for serious investors. Syndicates poured money into deeper digs. They brought heavy machinery. They sank shafts. They pumped out water. And they found artifacts, old nails, pottery shards, a lead cross. Each discovery felt like confirmation. Something was down there. The question wasn't whether treasure existed. It was how far down it went and what it would take to reach it. But here's where the thesis cracks. Geological surveys conducted in the latter half of the 20th century revealed something uncomfortable. Those engineered flood tunnels, they didn't exist. Not as constructed features. What diggers were seeing was natural groundwater movement through fractured bedrock. The wooden platforms weren't treasure vault supports. They were decayed tree roots and natural debris, layered through millennia of forest collapse and decomposition. The carbon dating was the killing blow. Those ancient platforms, they ranged from 300 to 900 years old, but not in a consistent timeline suggesting human construction. They were scattered, random, and the nails, common hardware from the 1700 and 1800, the era of the early digs themselves. Diggers had been finding the detritus of their own expeditions, mistaking them for proof of prior treasure. So what was actually happening in the money pit? The real answer: nothing intentional. The circular depression Magines spotted in 1795 wasn't a burial marker. It was a sinkhole, a natural feature created when the bedrock beneath collapsed, leaving a depression in the soil. Water pooled there, making excavation difficult. Subsequent layers weren't booby traps. They were the natural stratigraphy of a saturated landscape. But here's what makes this story matter. The money pit wasn't a failure of investigation. It was a failure of interpretation. Humans are pattern recognition engines. Show us a hole, show us layers, show us water, and we'll construct a narrative. We'll build a legend. We'll spend centuries chasing it. The booby traps were never there. We invented them to explain what we were seeing, because randomness is harder to accept than conspiracy. The money pit taught us something uncomfortable about certainty. It showed how physical evidence becomes mythology when we're desperate for meaning. Every artifact reinforced belief. Every dead end suggested we just hadn't dug deep enough. The trap wasn't in the ground. It was in our own minds, perfectly engineered by our need to believe that somewhere, beneath the earth, someone left us a prize worth the obsession. Subscribe. Each week we uncover a mystery that rewrites what we thought we knew. Subscribe. Each week